like to start by saying how much I hate the term "bang baby." They say "bang baby" a lot, and I don't like it. I never liked it. First couple times they said it, I was like, "Huh." I still don't, and they keep saying it. Like, "Oh, it's a bang baby on the loose. It's a watch out for that bang baby."
It gives it a little
I
flair. I don't know.
Watch out
I
for
get
that
what they're trying to
bang,
say,
baby.
but
Yeah, exactly.
it sounds foul. Okay, it sounds foul, and I don't appreciate it.
I don't know. I think you gotta get your mind out the gutter sometimes. You know what I mean?
It's a kids show. Of course, you gotta get your mind out the gutter.
I'm just saying. Once again, I'm being persecuted because I'm the only one brave enough to say what everyone's thinking. But that's okay. I don't like the term "bang baby." I know what it's playing off of. I think I was talking about with this. It's playing off of the term "crack baby," right? That's what I believe it is using, because it was attack is around the 90s character, crack epidemic, and the parallels of substance that has gotten into the neighborhood and has made a bunch of criminals that have probably originated with the government or white businessmen. There is a direct relationship between I guess the whatever the gas is and crack, right? And they're playing off of that. And crack babies, people who are born with crack addiction, and you have all these people who grow up in the hood and are destructive, and then you have bang babies, right? And except they have superpowers. I get what they're doing. I understand it. I don't like the term, and I wish we got another one.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey man, it's sometimes it's what fits. I mean, it's an interesting concept of cultural relevance of using the reference of like crack babies, the people who grew up as the victims of the crack cocaine epidemic. But I don't know, man. I think it'll stick. I think you'll grow to like it eventually.
personally, I do like the term "bang baby." It has a nice alliteration to it. You know what I mean? And like it kind of flavors up the show a bit. We could just call them like meta humans, but I think especially for like a kid audience, even with how like they kind of say it, I mess with it. I mess with it. You know what I mean? It's like a different. It's like its own tier of. It's like a tier between regular DC metahuman and then the people who were actually affected by the bang attack. You know what I mean? It kind of shows you where that person's from.
I think they actually at the beginning of the series did call them like mutants.
Yeah, they dropped metahuman like once, or maybe like mutant.
one. They dropped mutant on first on the news, and then Richie asked Static about it. He was like,
officially,
"Metahumans, please."
Yeah, officially, and in like science circles, wherever you get a scientist on, they'll say like metahumans, whatever.
Yeah.
But bang babies is a street name. I get it. I do. I don't like it. Anyways, we're here convene the Peak of Fiction podcast to talk about, you guessed it, Static Shock. Everyone's favorite 2000s cartoon television show with the character who, I must stress, is not named Static Shock. This is something that myself and many people get caught up on when they think about the character. They say, I can't wait for I want Static Shock in there, but he's just Static.
I don't care. Keep calling him Static Shock. You can't stop me. I can call him Static Shock if I want to.
Go right ahead, he's giving you a shock to your system.
This is true.
Yeah.
In order to do this, I have assembled these three great co-hosts. We got Gray the Samurai.
Hey man, I'm a huge fan of Static. I think
what's your bang
moments.
baby name?
Oh, my bang baby name.
Yeah.
That's a concept.
I didn't think of this. Come back to me.
I got one.
We got Subo.
Yo, what's good, everyone? bang baby name, Black Ice. I send a shiver
Black
down your
Ice.
spine.
Ooh, I like it. 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 All right. Beto.
I cannot come up with the name right now, but I was trying to do something of Latino origins.
Yeah, it's 90s.
But-
Well, you can just be
I can't hold on. No, it's offensive. No.
El Shadow.
Yeah.
El, you know, you can just say the in a word, and that's good enough for for a 90s Latino villain.
Yeah.
El Diablo.
El
Oh, I got one
Cazador.
now. I got one. I am the Blade Berserker as a
Blade
bang-
Berserker.
Blade
Okay,
Berserker.
that's your Berserker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bang me. What would my name be? Okay, Bates to Dust myself. I guess as leader of the operation, they call me the Big Brain.
Big
No
brain.
one calls you
His,
that.
brain.
his
Keep telling
mutation is
yourself
like
that,
his
pal.
head is like
Yeah. He's like
He's
totally,
leader.
the leader style. Yeah.
looks like Modoc.
Or the big thinker or whatever. I'd be hitting the pose. All right,
man.
so we are doing a review of Static Shock, which is a based off of the Milestone comic, by, let me get this correct, Milestone Comics, founded by Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cohen, Michael Davis, Derek T. Dingle, Christopher Priest. Milestone was an indie run or an indie imprint that was owned by African Americans that ran in the 90s, and I think at some point Milestone was incorporated into the official DC Comics.
Yeah.
And I'll say DC has not used the Milestone properties properly at all since acquiring them, and it's been very sad.
Sort of downhill spiral from there. There has been something.
Static is a character that we call a February exclusive.
February exclusive.
Yeah,
All right, bro.
yeah. He shows up every Black History Month to be like, remember me? And then they don't run anything else with him.
Yeah.
There is there's a pretty big, I would say, controversy or whatever joke going on with DC. They've been dubbed discrimination comics.
That's what it is. I was trying to remember it. I'm like
on account of there has been no new ongoing of a Black hero in years. It's kind of crazy. Okay, it's kind of wild how they're moving at DC right now.
Yeah.
We just need more Batman. That's all we need.
Nah, man, give me some Cyborg.
Yeah, man. Cyborg.
Cyborg.
Yeah,
Take it easy right
Cyborg.
Give
But
them
yeah,
that
there's a
shit.
bunch of February exclusives. There's so many February exclusive in DC. It's crazy. You got Duke.
Oh yeah,
Duke Thomas of the Signal.
They don't care about Duke.
You got
Vixen.
Aqualad. The
Well,
Aqualad. Yeah.
the one that's Black
Yeah.
Manta's kid. You got
Yeah.
him. You got Connor.
Who's
Didn't he get a shout out in this series?
He's like the
low-key?
biracial son of
oh yeah.
Ollie or something. Or he's related to Ollie or whatever. But yeah, you have Connor. You got a couple more that are they only show up for covers in February.
Vixen.
It's a shame. They should do something about this.
Vixen.
It's I guess the DC just doesn't know what their Black Panther is. Or
DC doesn't know what their Black Panther is.
Yeah, true.
They really don't.
They've tried. I mean, DC is just way worse. And I'll say this, right? I'm gonna keep it real. DC's white heroes are bangers. Okay? They are. Okay. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, right? Hal Jordan. They're all pretty good. So
But
I
even
can't
then-
just say, move them out the side. But there should be space for new Black heroes, right? Or
Yeah.
actually any heroes of color
Like
to
we probably
fill
should
in
have.
other spots.
We probably should get more Jon Stewart. You know what I mean? Because that's a very
Mhm.
popular Green Lantern. or like damn, gun to my
Mar-
head, name 5 black
Yeah,
DC
but
villains.
Martian. Oh, Mr. Terrific.
Mr.
Yeah,
Terrific, yeah.
Mr.
Well, how
Terrific
is
on
wait, has
point.
Mr. Terrific even gotten a run since the movie?
Yeah, he had like the Terrifics, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be like, yo, that'd be crazy if they.
And
Oh, yeah.
Martian Manhunter is black sometimes. On
Oh yeah,
occasion.
yeah. On occasion.
But he sounds black all the time.
He sounds black, and you got like those kind of characters right there. But yeah, we do need more black heroes in DC. And who knows, maybe be able to turn it around. Meanwhile, Marvel has like so many, between like Storm, Black Panther, Luke Cage, Miles, and so many of them have their own books. They're thriving. Blade.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over there at Discrimination Comics, but that is besides the point. We're here to celebrate, not denigrate, a series that many people hold near and dear, and we're reviewing the first season of Static Shock, which I think was on WB Kids or
Yep.
Fox. It's a big Saturday morning cartoon that many people saw, and like, the brief summary, I guess, of it is Virgil Hawkins is a smart like teen, right? Like he's pretty laid back. Him and his best friend Richie, like they're hanging out, and different circumstances basically force Static into a situation where him and a bunch of other people all get exposed to this gas. Right? They call this event the Big Bang, and once the gas, I guess goes not only in that area but like over the city, a bunch of people come out of that with superpowers, including including Virgil, who has electricity powers and magnetism. And he decides to become a hero called Static Shock, that he can protect the city. So that is the rough summary. And I'll say, before we get into the full breakdown of the series, what is your first initial impression of Static Shock?
I could go. So this is my second time just watching everything, or at least everything in season 1. The first time I actually went through the series. I mean, a couple times as a kid, I was able to catch like an episode here and there, but it was something that it had to be like playing at the exact time that I was at someone's house to watch it on their TV or something. So I always had Static Shock glimpses here and there. But like 5 years ago, I decided, when it was still on HBO Max, because that was around the time when they got like all the cartoons, and I saw Static Shock, and I'm like, you know what? I always wanted to watch it, so let me just watch the series then. And then I just binged the series and watched through it on there, and revisiting it like 5 years later. It's an alright series. It's an alright series. I've always kind of felt it's a very much a villain of the day of the week type of story. It's not really like it's not like there's like this huge like overlying background story going on. It's very much like this is the bang baby of the week, and this is how Static faces him. I think it's a really good show for kids. You know what I mean? And there's some really standout episodes too. I believe we'll get a bit more into it. But as far as the season 1 goes, I think it's a really nice start to the series. And I can understand, and I can see myself, a younger me, being even more into this. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I messed with it.
Actually, I I never watched the show as a kid. I did watch it just now, well, recently because of this podcast. Um, I've heard about about this character a little bit in my childhood and grown up here and there about who he is and what he does. Um, but after reading the the comics through the Milestone Compendium, I did appreciate this character a lot more, and he sounds even more cool. And from this TV show, it heightens who he was and spreads his popularity to more individuals. but it does suffer from that 2000s kind of look and feel that I was just a little bit like about, but I definitely think this is a pretty good show that stays true to its characters, its character, its cool moments, and just doing things and showing the true like good messages across the whole show. And yeah, I think it's like a pretty good addition to his character. I wish there was more static
Yeah,
properties or things that's going on today.
yeah, for sure.
There should be a video game at this point.
There should be a video game, but
Hmm.
they'll never do. Or he
I
should have
think
been in.
he's an Injustice too. That's the
Oh,
best
is
I
he?
got for you.
Static
so,
Shock's
too,
an
yeah.
Static Shock. I keep him doing it now. Static's an Injustice too.
Mhm.
Oh, it's pretty clean. It's pretty clean. So we're sharing our origin stories of kind of
Yeah,
our history with the show. All right.
What's your dark past? Great.
Oh, dark past with Static. So I watched like a few episodes on television here and there. And I have literally never watched the story in consistent succession until this past week when I watched the first season. Like I had seen some episodes like spotty. And I did like how coherent it was. I did like how connected it was, even though at first I was like, well, this is interesting. I could see someone describing it as the villain of the week compendium storyline. But as we get into the characters and the villains and kind of their origins and the personal relationships and I overall really enjoyed the show. And I have a lot of good things to share about it as we kind of dig a little bit deeper. But my initial thoughts on it as a first time season one watcher watching it consistently, is it's better than I remembered it slightly. Because I mean, in of itself, by itself, it's an interesting show. I think when you watch it in chronological order, it actually is. It makes a lot more sense, and their ages also add up based on the things that are happening in the story. They feel like high school kids.
Yeah.
They make decisions like high school kids.
Mhm.
Their logic and reason on things like high school kids.
Yeah.
Which is, sometimes you see a high school kid behaving and thinking like a grown adult 30 or 25-year-old person. Like, I don't know if a kid would do that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But nah, Virgil is definitely a high school kid. And I think that actually helps the story. Especially because he's the only hero in the whole thing is just him. He's the only bang baby that has any benevolent any benevolent interests. And I think the weight actually starts to show up in some really interesting ways. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Okay. So before I say what I'm going to say, I invite anybody who takes umbrage with my words to rewatch the show themselves, like on a television, without looking at their phones, and just watch like 14 episodes straight. Okay? I encourage you to do this first before you come at me. This show's mid. Okay? This show is aggressively mid. And I saw the show like in bits and pieces when I was a kid. And in my head, the show was a lot better than what I ended up seeing when I rewatched it for the pod. And I was quite disappointed actually with Static Shock as like a product because the animation was not like as good as I remember it. Like the plot lines weren't as good as I remember it. And I like episode of the week. I do. I like procedural stuff. I love some of my favorite shows are procedural. But for me, a lot of the procedural elements just weren't really hitting. And just to make sure I'm not biased, I want to point out a couple of other shows that were out at Static Shock's time, which was 2000. Okay, just to show you like what we're dealing with. At 2000, we had shows like X-Men Evolution. Okay, we had shows like Invader Zim. We had shows like, I think 2002 had Kim Possible. You had Samurai Jack. You had Totally Spies. And I hate to say it, but all those shows like do the procedural every week thing, I think, on a much higher level than Static Shock. I
At the
I
same
don't think it's
time, you have,
bad,
oh yeah,
but it's just it's just at some point you got to call a spade, and you got to say, hey man, this is kind of like a mid-tier children's cartoon show from the year 2000, and that's what it is. You know, if you like it, you like it. You know, I'm not saying there's something. It's not. There's no worth here. I think some of the episodes are kind of good. I like Static as a character, but as my initial impressions, it just was not like hitting that much for me.
honestly, I could see where you're coming from. Because the show is because there are like some like hit or miss. Just with this kind of style of show, there are going to be episodes that will hit more than others, or some that are just a real like obviously the original writer isn't on this. It's like a different writer that's here to just kind of fill in time. Uh, but I I think the impact of the show is also can't be understated. You know what I mean? Because this is like one of the first like cartoons where there's like a black superhero for real. He's just like you, Bates.
It's just
He,
like you,
just
babe.
like you know what I mean.
You're on
And
TV, babe.
I'm not here. Okay. I'm saying it right now. Okay. I'm going to tell you right here, right now. I am not here to grade Static Shock over cultural impact. I'm not here to say, well, you don't understand. This was only black. I'm not here to do this. I'm here to grade it as a show. Because you know what? If Static Shock paved the way has been paved. Okay, but I don't have to look at it through rose-tinted glasses because of its historical whatever.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But I one of the points you brought up about like the other shows that came out around that time, because I've also watched like a couple of the ones that you've pointed out. Do you think you would have the same when was the last time that you seen those other shows?
I'll
Like
say it's a
Totally
minute.
Spies. Yeah.
Totally Spies is definitely the longest, but I will say for sure, like I have seen like Teen Titans episodes, right? Not too
Okay.
far. I've seen Samurai Jack not too far ago. X-Men Evolution definitely holds up, right? X-Men Evolution's an excellent show.
But I'm pissed.
That is like, and and also all those shows, I understand part of this could be budget, right? They may not have given a black show the same budget as like these other shows, but those shows look better. Like, I,
I think it works with what it
Yeah.
got.
X-Men, Batman Sidekicks TV show. Yeah. I guess they wouldn't get the same budget as superhero we've never seen in anything else before. That checks out.
Yeah. But it's also like the season one, you know what I mean? The animation could have gone better. Like I remember them having like future crossover episodes with like the Justice League and Batman and beyond, you know what I mean?
Yeah, might get better later on for sure. For sure.
I get it. I get off of this one season how you could come to that conclusion. Because low-key, my farm rating might be around the area that I'm thinking you're gonna be. But yeah, no, I think for a show that like paves the way, and for any con I could think of, I think there's like two things I actually like enjoy about it, or I could find like value in that I would put like over like a standard show around that time. It's not gonna touch the Teen Titans, it's not gonna touch the Alien Showdowns or the gun to my head.
Or the
Samurai
X-Men
Jacks,
Evolution, or the
Never seen
Samurai
X-Men.
Jacks, or
Yeah,
X-Men
it's not gonna touch
Evolution's peak.
those. I heard is it the same one as the Actually, we'll get to that. But yeah, it's not gonna touch those heights. But I think for what it is, it is a good jump.
Okay, and I think as we go a little bit deeper, then we can see what works, what doesn't. And also, okay, if I compare this to like a nostalgic kind of trip, that may not be as good as you remember. I compared to like the '90s Spider-Man the animated series. Right, both of those are working in constraints, and both of those aren't as good as you may remember them to be, but they're both pretty all right, and they have pretty good characters. And the characters are like the strong point. But let's get into it a little bit more. Let's get a little bit more before the pitchforks come out. And then torn limb from limb.
Well, your
Um,
opinions.
So
Uncle
we're gonna
Ruckus on
do
the podcast.
we're gonna do a quick
Uncle
breakdown
Uncle Billy.
of each episode, right? Not going into too much depth, but doing a quick breakdown. So, episode 1, shock to the system. Okay, in this episode, Virgil is, like I said, he's a smart, kid. He's friends with Richie, a white kid. He crushes on
Frida.
Frida. Yes, he crushes on Frida, and just going through his high school day, he gets bullied by this like school gang leader, this big guy Francis, who has like his gang of guys, and he is gonna get jumped, but he's protected by another guy, Wade, right, who's leader of a different gang, and he is like, hey, Virgil, if you really want to get protection, you gotta join this. You gotta join our gang, because that way we'll keep you safe. And Virgil's like, I don't want to join a gang. He's like, no, you're gonna join a gang. In fact, meet us at the docks. Here's a gun. Right?
About that.
They're about that. It's kind of rough out there. So when he gets the gun, he like throws the gun away, and at this point, every single YN, crash out, thug, gangbanger shows up at the docks at the same time to just brawl it out / shoot each other. And the cops come, and it's like this huge big thing. And during this time, I think they throw tear gas into the docks. They start shooting stuff at the docks, and this causes these canisters that are at the docks to explode and release this purple gas all over the docks. So every YN, crash out, gangbanger, thug all get superpowers at the same time.
That
which
helps.
will cause trouble for the city. But then again, even I'm gonna put a little question mark on this, because there's tons of people that get powers who were not there. So
It's a planet they were like around.
They
were
had to be around. Yeah. I mean, like it's gas, right?
Yeah.
So
it's
if
gas.
you're walking,
Like, I don't know how
walking
much
on the
it's
street,
spread.
yeah, spread pretty wildly apparently.
But yeah, there's just a bunch of random guys. I'm like, how did you get the gas? There's a lot of that. Like how, like that kid. I was like, how did you get gassed up? But anyways,
He watched it happen. He was like around. He was like,
He's
oh my
around.
gosh, what's that?
So a bunch of people get the gas, and then Virgil, he makes it home, but he's like, wow, I got powers, right? He finds out he can control electricity, he can bend metal, he's a bunch of cool powers, and he goes over to see Richie, and Richie's like, hey, you can be a superhero, I'll be your guy. And together, they make up the identity of Static Shock, and he goes to, like, stop crime and protect the city. Episode 2, Aftershock. Yeah.
Oh yes, sorry. This is like a little aside, but there's a really good voice actor YouTuber called Ace Vane, and he has a specific he does some episodes on the Static Shock series, and this is like one of those episodes that he does it on. And watching through this episode, I just kept thinking about there's a bit in his video where Wade is actually he's actually trying to join his gang, but and like Wade is about to get like jumped, but he's gonna get jumped in his sleep, So he wants everyone to have like a gang nap around him. Everyone's just like, "You want a slumber party?" But no, I want a gang nap, and that's all I was thinking. Yo, Ace Bane's great. If you haven't checked him out,
That's pretty funny. Shameless
Ace
plug.
hilarious. I will say this is a very funny part. I don't know if Wade shows up in a different season, but it is funny that Wade is there. And Wade, I thought Wade was going to be a bigger deal, considering how he's the guy who got, was getting sacked in the gang. He was his gang leader,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
at the epicenter. And then he's just gone.
Well, what you see in that first episode is a bunch of people that were
Yeah.
gang members in the hospital, essentially, like,
Yeah, that's what I assume.
like disintegrating in real time, like
body
turns into soup.
What Senator
Tentacles.
Kelly in X-Men 1.
Yeah, it's brutal, bro. It's absolutely horrible. So yeah, I mean, there's also a pretty strong possibility that even though he was a hot shot, get it, in the in the school when he actually got powers, they were the worst powers, and it like destroyed his entire existence. That's totally
It's
possible.
a wide variety. Sometimes you get cool powers and you're normal. Sometimes you're a freakazoid. There's no
there's no in between.
No control. No in between. So episode 2, Aftershock. Because of the Big Bang, a bunch of metahumans, so the media's dubbed Bang Babies, has appeared, and they're all committing crimes. And so Virgil is working at Static to stop them. And that's when he meets up with F-Stop or Francis, who, even before he got powers, looked like somebody who would get fire powers. His character design, because even before he got his powers, he had spiked up hair that was red and yellow like fire, and all this sort of stuff, and then he just coincidentally gets fire powers and becomes Hot Streak. And for whatever reason, in spite of being powers and all this stuff, he's like, no, the most important thing I can do is kill the kid I used to bully.
He's a crash out.
I want to
finally more ammo.
Kill him.
Or hit on the girl that I think is hot, but
that too.
Forcibly coercing her to go with me through violence. All right, bro.
Yeah, it was the early 2000s, bro. Chris Brown was hot.
So, he learns. I think this is when he learns that Elva, he was a big business leader. Elva and the mayor were responsible for the gas that caused the metahumans. So he's trying to get evidence on it. I think he tries to get a disc, and he gets a disc with the evidence to prove that Elva is responsible. But later on, as he goes to fight Hot Streak, the disc gets destroyed. And he has a bit when he's fighting Hot Streak where he's kind of spooked because he's like, oh, he's my bully. But then he locks in and beats him. This is another part where I question. I understand, kids, I'm not gonna interrogate it too much. But why doesn't Stag just electrocute his villains more often? It seems very easy. Because when he was fighting Francis, he was like, what do I do? I go, no, I have to throw metal at him, or I gotta do this and that. And I'm like, Static, my guy, just electrocute him. Just go, and you'd be good.
It might just be a case where it's some metahumans have more resistance than others. Yeah, for Static, I think he outputs a slightly stronger version of getting literally static, if you were to touch a doorknob. You know what I mean? So if for regular guys, who are just human and all they got to do is just shoot fire out their fingertips, and their physiology just hasn't changed outside of that, it probably takes them down a lot faster. But for your E-bonds and your people made out of rocks and stones and freakazoids, shocking them, it simply just doesn't work.
But he does beat Hot Streak, and he's big hero man. I think also during this, he had a bit with Frida, I guess, where he's like, oh, I want to, he's trying to hit on Frida. At some point, Frida disappears from the plot.
I know
Not yet,
why.
but But there is a specific point where they introduce someone new, and Frida just disappears.
She got clipped.
So
Cut from
episode
the
3,
roster.
which is debris.
Nobody's ever.
They added someone better.
Frida's not
Black
a snow bunny.
queens forever. Snow bunny never.
Frida's clearly Latina.
Frida's not Latina. Wait, are you serious? She's Jewish. I'm pretty sure she's like Jewish.
She's
Like,
Jewish.
white
Wait, when was this?
It's obvious.
No, I'm confused. Let me check my stream. I thought
pretty
Frida
sure-
was Latina.
What about her
Beto,
makes
back
her
me
looks
up.
Latina?
I have her
I'm pretty sure she's
profile
not.
up right now on the
Oh,
on the
all right,
League of
Beto, our
Comic
in-house
Geeks.
expert. All right. Let's
One of
put
the
Beto
tags
in the
is
field.
she's Jewish.
Dang. Well, she had a little melanin, right?
That's the TV
That's
Am I
show.
melanin?
tripping?
That's just the TV show.
That's melanin.
I thought
know, buddy.
I thought she had a splash of melanin, and her name was Frida, kind of like the famous
Frida, yeah.
artist.
Yeah,
So I
why is
figured-
Richie?
Yeah.
So yeah, as Virgil's hanging with his really light skinned friend Richie, it's really
Richie. Okay. You have to admit, Richie's skin tone is different than Frida's skin tone.
Sure.
I guess, but that's just
Whatever.
tan white.
I'm the
just
editor,
tan
so
white.
I'm gonna pull up the thing. But that's what but Latino. It's not all Latino people. There's a wide spectrum, but some Latino people are tan white. Like that's the color.
I mean, they are, but they're not that. They're not like that bright tan. I don't like.
Yeah. I
Have
wasn't
you
going
seen
based on
Colombians?
skin color alone.
I've seen.
I've seen
Trust
people
me,
of many
trust
different
me.
cultures.
I know some. I
This is a
personally
slippery
know
slope,
a
babe.
few
I'm gonna let you
Latino
get off
people.
Yeah, we're
Get
gonna
off
let
the horse, babe.
keep going, bro.
Get off the
Whatever.
horse. It's dangerous up there.
Show
Yeah, you just
tell us how much
give
you know
it-
about Latinas.
You just give the editing pass.
Wait a minute.
Anyone, huh?
Maybe.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I thought, well, okay, was there a part where she says like, "Oh, I'm going to the synagogue" or something to indicate that she's Jewish?
Yeah, the last
fair,
episode she appeared on.
I might be remembering a future episode in the series, so maybe that's why. But even then,
That's why. Like
It's so
that's my question is, where did we get the Jewish part? That's my okay. She's not this, but where did you get the information
I mean, Frida is
that was presented?
Frida is like a Jewish name, typically, right?
Frida? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I associated Frida as a Latin name, considering one of the most famous artists of all time, who's Latin, is named Frida. What are we doing here?
like Daisy.
You know what
I can
happens when you
understand.
assume? I'm kidding.
Like you look up if you type it, whatever. Anyways, this is
Hey, bro, if you want-
this conversation.
if you want
But this
Ryan
is about an
Gosling-
I told
underage
you
girl,
to get
man. We
off the
gotta
horse,
calm down
babe.
here.
Get off the horse, bait.
Hey, bro, if you want Ryan
I'm not
Gosling
wrong
to be the
to
next
think
Black
this.
Panther, just say that. Just-
Whatever.
I literally looked this up right now again on a wiki. It still
Yeah,
says
Beto. Yeah,
Frida
yeah,
is
she's
of Jewish
bro.
ancestry.
Yeah, she's Jewish, brother.
I'm sure there's dozens of us that think this.
Dozens.
Hey, look it up. No, bro, it's just you.
Dozens.
That's all that popped up. No, it's just
Okay. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, maybe.
Oh my gosh, babe.
Anyways, it just doesn't matter.
Oh my god.
It doesn't
It
matter
really
what
doesn't,
we
babe.
do.
It really
In all
doesn't matter.
fairness, in all
But-
okay. In all
But you
fairness,
pushed this
I
really
thought-
hard.
I thought that Frida was spelled Frida,
Frida.
but it's spelled Frieda. If I saw Frieda, I would think different. But I thought it was Frida. And
Sure you would.
Mm.
Hey, bro, what do you
Whatever.
say?
Sure you would.
We got a couple
Black
podcasts
History
against you,
Month.
man. So that's how you feel.
What does this have to do with Black History Month?
every Frida's Latina. I understand you, babe. I hear you, man. Let's keep it rolling.
Anyways, I'm not be bullied on my own podcast. We are in episode 3, folks. 3. Because you couldn't just let it stand. You couldn't just let me go. You had to,
Nah, bro. I gotta
to
fact
get
check
up
you.
on-
I mean, that was a wild take. I'm not gonna just let you roll with it. I'm
All right,
sorry.
At first
Anyways.
I thought you were joking. They're like, oh wait,
Yeah, it's serious. No, he's not joking.
Anyways, back to the episode. Episode 3. The breed. Derek Barnett, who's a big school athlete. He has help for Virgil for tutoring, and also I think Frida. Okay, Frida, the lovely Jewish girl.
The
as
Jewish
I'm finding
journalist.
out, yeah, Jewish journalist, is crushing on Derek. But Derek, unfortunately, he was also caught in the Big Bang, I guess, and he is like a big mass of ionic energy. So he's unable to control his abilities, and then that's when we meet the meta breed, which are a group of evil bang babies. I don't like that phrase. Anyways, I can't stress
What do
enough.
you want to call them, babe? Why don't you
I
give
don't
them a
know.
name?
Yeah,
Why don't you give them a name, huh?
If you had
You
like a
want to
name,
call them freaks?
Give them a name.
them
Muties.
call
Oh,
them
muties. Muties is
Yeah.
more dignified.
Oh God.
what are you, a
Nah,
beauty?
that's
Yeah. And what are you?
So they consist
During
of the
Black History
leader.
Month too, brother. Jeez.
Yeah. Anyways, clock's ticking. Okay, clock's ticking. The leader Ebon, who can manipulate shadows. Talon, who is a bird person, and Shiv, who can change his hands to weapons, has some fake energy powers. And they want him to basically be in the crew as their powerhouse. And Static is basically works to help, get him back home and get him out of the gang he stumbled in. And this is our first meeting of Ebon, who was, I think, a reoccurring villain. And he's a pretty cool villain. He's made of pure shadow.
Regardless.
Next episode is Grounded, and you can kind of play the Naruto filler music over this one.
Yeah, bro.
Because it's just he fights a big amoeba, I guess.
I hated this. This is the one episode that I actually hated.
And also, I think this episode, no, this is the second to last episode where Frida. This is the last episode where Frida is important, and this next episode is the last time we ever see Frida.
Yeah.
She disappears.
Also, Armadillo. The armadillo is in this episode. First time I see the armadillo.
He sure is, isn't he?
Yeah.
The next one is They're Playing My Song. That's where we get Rubber Band Man. I think this episode's pretty solid.
This episode's pretty
Adam,
solid.
That's a good
actually, I
episode.
agree.
Yeah, Adam Evans.
This one's really good.
He wants revenge on rapper Ice Pack, who is the Pokemon evolution of Ice Cube. And he is, I guess he stole his song that he wrote, and he has Plastic Man powers basically, because he can shift his body into different shapes. He can shape shift. He can do all kinds of crazy stuff beyond just having a rubber body. But
He can create a costume for himself. He can do disguises.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
But he wants revenge, and so he first goes after Ice Pack, and then Static saves him, but then he find out, okay, well, you stole. Well, no, first he goes after the one of the record guys, then he goes after Ice Pack, and then he goes after the producer, who's like a Biggie Small style pastiche, but
not the final Biggie Small style. But we'll get into it.
Yeah, so he and then so he tries to do it, and then I guess he tricks him into getting locked into a vault where he's going to suffocate to death. And then Static saves him, and Static's like, "This isn't the way, Rubber Band Man." And Rubber Band's like, I'm so mad. I'm on my revenge. Nah, let that stop. And he gets beaten, and Static spins him around like a school, like what do you call those things that you spin around in?
Carousel.
Carousel, yeah.
Yeah, he spins around a carousel like and just like ties him up. And yeah, that's where he is. But maybe he'll show up later down the line. Episode 6, The New Kid. This is where he goes to the Van Moore Institute, which is a institute funded by Elva. And meanwhile, Vinxag's fighting a robot, and the robot's built by these two students who are kind of like jerks, these two older students, who I guess are Elva's funding the giant robot that they make to capture Static. And this is where we get new character, Daisy Watkins, who is Static's new black love interest. And hear it out, Frida disappears.
Hey,
Never-
It
never
wasn't
to be
that
seen
important
again.
anyway. Journalism.
It was a budget cut. You know?
Again, Snow Bunny's never, Black Queens forever. I said Snow Bunny's never, Black Queens forever.
Thank you, Dr. Umar.
Quote.
And Daisy's like since this is school for geniuses, right? Daisy's like super smart, and he's in the program, and basically he ends up building a device that the older students are like, you have one day to build us like a energy tracker. And they do it because they're all smart, but then they use the energy tracker to build a better robot that can like hunt down Static. Static ends up defeating it, and Elva is like, he's not captured because they can't really prove that was him, but he is embarrassed, I guess. Like, and the students are like arrested, and Daisy joins the main cast because the school gets like destroyed, and they were building a giant death robot. It gets closed down, so Daisy goes back to public school with Virgil. 7. We find a young boy. He's just a little white kid, Dwayne. Due to the powers of due to the Big Bang, he's a reality warper. He can turn his imagination into reality. He's very strong. He's extremely powerful. It's like he's like low key Franklin Richards, running around. And
But he can just create things, right?
He can just
can't,
create, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is really limited by his imagination.
Yeah.
And his older brother or his older stepbrother, who is like a bad guy, is like, oh, okay, I need you to do all this stuff for me, Oh, you want to be my brother, don't you? You want to be my hey, you want to be my brother? Well, why don't you help me rob this bank, or why don't you do this or that? Is manipulating him, and Static has to show him like, oh, your brother was no good, and put a stop and have him use his powers for good. And there's a good plot line about Static's dad, and his community outreach, programs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get a very special episode. What a many that Static Shock has had, but this is Sons of the Fathers. I think it's another great episode.
This is a great episode.
This is a great episode, because this is the part where they point out that hey, I've never been over the house, Richie, once. You've never invited me over your house. What's up with that? So Static is like, so Richie's like, okay, I'll invite you over to the house. I think it'll be all right. But then, Richie's dad is there, and Virgil thinks things are cool, but they aren't cool. And, and the vibes at first are like, I don't like that. And because Richie's dad is this big white guy's like, I don't like that rap music. It's like corrupting the youth. It's like this and that. And he really is like giving off these bad vibes. But Virgil's like, it's probably nothing, right? Nah, everything's A-okay.
It's just boomer
But
talk.
as he's walking by, he's like, he's so weird. This is the problem, Richie's hanging out with those kind. My son's hanging out with those blacks.
Yeah.
And you know what? I appreciate this. I think it's a good episode. I think it's a good depiction of racism. And also, I don't think you're allowed to be racist like this in a kid's television show anymore. it's
anymore. Yeah, I feel like in
it has to
2026,
be
2026
buried.
kids shows can't
Yeah.
metaphorically. We got to do metaphors.
Yeah, it has to be buried under so many layers of metaphor,
I know
and
what it is.
also it has to be, I think, handled with such kids' gloves because I guess people are more sensitive, and it has to be all these different ways. But I do appreciate, just having just a white dad being like, yeah, I don't like those blacks. I think is a lot better and more accurate, especially for the time, the 90s, way to do that.
Yeah, like I
So-
thought this episode was probably my favorite of the season for sure. And Static Shock usually would have these kind of like episodes, like maybe once or twice a season, where it'd be this kind of like a PSA type show that kind of tells kids, this is the world, but what you shouldn't. This is the world, and this is how you should kind of like. This is how you could possibly like react to it, or could happen, to you. You know what I mean? And it didn't shy away from that, which I think it was like the intention of like the creator who made the show.
So I think at this point, Richie runs away, and he basically it forces his dad, and like Richie's dad and Virgil's dad to work together, right? And Richie's dad's like, oh well, like I don't know about these people or whatever. But like at the same time, I think like Virgil's dad, it's like yeah, I know, like I'm used to this. Like yeah, you're the well-meaning like bigot, like yeah, we've been and done that, but do you want to find your son or not, right?
Yeah.
You lost your son a long time ago, man. And I
this
think
was
it
not
does.
the only time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good. There's some good writing, some really good script writing in this episode.
Yeah.
I was actually really impressed with how they did it.
Then we also get a follow up with Ebon and a pretty cool fight, actually, one of the better fights in the series, because Ebon captures Richie because he figures out that Richie is friends with Static, so he's basically trying to hold him hostage so they can break Talon out of jail. And they have a cool fight, and at the end, Richie's dad is like, you know what, maybe I will change I'm gonna try to change my ways. I'm gonna try to do better, and he like, I think there's a thing where he takes both the kids like to a comic convention.
Yeah. and then Richie's dad's racism has been cured, but not his homophobia. He will go full. he gonna see one trapping on cosplay,
bro. They hit and the thing is they hinted at that too. They did because they're like, oh, and Richie was like, I can't wait to see his reaction. Like that is
kind of wild. Men in makeup. Oh boy.
I was like, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. I want to see his reaction.
Yeah, I want to see his reaction. Oh, I'm gonna film it.
You want me to call him what kind of pronouns? In my country?
Pronouns.
Man.
Then we have Winds of Change, and I don't like this episode. This is your classic. This is your classic like friends fight episode.
Yeah.
Where Richie's like, you're spending too much time with Daisy instead of training to be Static. And then, Virgil's like, oh, but I want to have a life, and like this is like,
that episode should have came out like an episode after Daisy was introduced, just to get that out of the way. Because this just
and Daisy's like, hey, I can see you guys, you're friends, you guys need to work together, to do this, yada yada. Even though even by the end of the season, Static has not revealed his identity. She kind of gets that vibe. And this villain in the league is not great. It's a fat guy with wind powers. His early motivation was I want to steal food. And then he's like, I guess I can steal money, and money can pay for more food.
I mean that
And then
that adds up.
mid episode he escalates to I'm going to kill this entire film crew. Inexplicably, he just rolls up and says, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill this entire helicopter of people."
Yeah, it's yeah, this was one of the weaker villains for sure. But they wanted to focus more on the falling out between Virgil and Richie uh than the villain. So I feel like they didn't put that much thought towards him.
Mm-hmm. So we then have Bent Out of Shape, which is I think a freaking pretty good one because this is a Rubber Band Man episode. Rubber Band Man escapes from jail, and he is Virgil's older sister's boyfriend. But he's taken on a new identity and used his Plastic Man-esque powers to become a musician named Stringer. So I think he just plays like a synth, not a synth, but he
the one of those
a
piano
guitar,
maybe
like a guitar or something.
Yeah, an instrument like that.
Yeah, but he just wants to make music, and he's actually doing pretty well. But it kind of blows up his face, literally, when when his pyrotechnics guy is like, "Hey, man, I didn't know we should do these pyrotechnics," and he's like, "Ah, man, just go for it, dog. It'll be chill." And
and in fact, it was not chill.
Yeah, we learned a lesson here. Listen to the pyrotechnics guys. And he sets a place on fire, and he tries to run away, and Static's like, "You got to answer for this," only to find out that as he tries to pull his arm, that he's in fact Rubber Band Man.
Oh, your arm stretches.
And you know what? Good for him. I salute him. I salute him just running off and then just taking a different identity. I think that's great. And Rubber Band Man, actually, he does care for Sharon. He is trying to turn his life around. And he escaped from jail. He said, "Hey, jail, it turns out, sucks. I gotta fight people and I can do all this stuff." And this is one of those things where you get the 90s conservative, black conservative politics, where I think, especially Virgil's dad, is the epitome of a 90s black conservative man, right? Where he may be progressive on some issues, but he's definitely kind of set in his ways. And he's like, "Well, son, that's nice, but you gotta go back and do your sentence because that's the right thing to do. You gotta make it right." Which is whenever, dog. I mean,
did Rubber Man really?
I mean, what? All right,
that crazy?
If he's gonna become a member of society again,
he was succeeding as a member of society. He was already a member of society.
But because
he's a master of disguise.
Yeah.
But that can only last so long.
Yeah. Plus he did only have a couple months. Now if it was a year or something, I get it. Because I get if it was longer, but they said he'll be out in a month or two.
Barely any sentence. They're like, "Yo, this guy's actually an upstanding member of society and he has powers. We could use him actually instead of letting him rot in prison."
There's people in jail who don't have powers. You know what I mean? he be all right. And he got rubber band powers?
Yeah, he describes, this episode was interesting because he said in prison, the people with the metahumans are discriminated against. And my first thought when he said that was, how?
Yeah,
how are normal humans?
I assume they might have some sort of way to nullify powers or whatever in prison.
Maybe. And if that's the case, that adds up. But I did see that and I was just like, So you mean to tell me that the strongest people in this prison are the slaves? Are low on the social totem pole? That's interesting. But I decided not to think too much about it. I was like, you know what? If he's saying it, and he's pretty strong on the outside, not for nothing, he's been putting the hands on everybody so far, and most of these episodes that he's appeared in. But yeah, that didn't make me raise an eyebrow. I will say that.
Yeah.
And also this episode has two other metahumans, Puff and Onyx, who decide to become bounty hunters and like track him down, try to capture him for cash. So Static and Rubber Band Man have to team up to fight them off. And yeah, he does. He eventually decides to go back to jail to service time, so then he can like be upstanding member of society and I guess date Virgil's sister.
Yep.
Episode 11, Junior. This is where Edwin Elva Jr., who I guess is Elvis Chud's son, who is like, oh, my dad doesn't love me, my dad doesn't love me or respect me, and then when his son's trying to tell him like, hey, Dad, I figured a way on how to control this bang gas that you make. Wouldn't that be useful? He's like, I don't care about you, son, and I hate you. I'll never listen to you ever. So then Elba Jr. is like, okay, well then I'm just going to, he puts like a belt on of all these different gases, and basically he gets a new power every single time he activates a gas. So he decides to use this. He's like, well, if you won't work with me, I'm going to destroy everything that you built. So he starts attacking his ships. He starts attacking his factories. And he's pretty strong and kind of difficult for Static to deal with because he can have like a ton of powers. I think at some point he uses like X-ray vision to find out Static's identity, and he's threatens to reveal it. So Static goes to his dad and tells him, "Hey, it's your son is omnifarious," which is like that's
that name was a little wonky.
Yeah, you gotta go back to the drawing board for that one.
And when he first said it, I thought he said I'm nefarious. I'm like,
that's what I thought he said. He's like,
oh,
omnifarious.
Omnifarious. Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Also, how did they not know it was Elvin? How did he not know it was Elva Jr.?
Because he didn't care enough to look into it.
Yeah, but the thing, he doesn't wear a mask. No, not even him, but like anybody else. He doesn't wear a mask. Sometimes his body changes, but a lot of times his body is just like normal. and he's the only one with that like really weird conical head shape. So
well, you know what the funny part about this episode is? Because you're right, but I think what you're missing is the fact that nobody cares about this kid and nobody pays attention to him.
Yeah.
So he's kind of invisible unintentionally.
Either way, no one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
Nobody cares about this kid at all. So you're right. Nobody cares.
He goes to I guess like fight his father. And his father sends a bunch of like robot guys on him, and he's using all his powers. He has wings, he has lasers, yada yada. But he does too much of the gas, and turns to stone. And Elba's like, my son, and then Static, I guess Static, let's say family mogs him, and basically on the way out is like, oh yeah, man. I just can't relate. I can't relate to having a bad relationship with my dad because wow, man, my family's so loving and close. Sucks to suck. And like walks off.
You hate to see it. Anyway. Yeah, it's wild. That was
episode 12.
Nice episode.
Yeah, it's also so good. Episode 12 is Replay, where you have a metahuman that can duplicate himself. He used to be a star of a sitcom, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, he was a big deal back in the day, but then the show got canceled, and he's still like, I got no money. Whenever he can duplicate himself, he does a bunch of crimes, and he ends up duplicating Static. So then he uses Static, this clone of Static, to do crimes around the city. And everyone immediately flips on Static and is like, wow, Static's evil. Who could have suspected? We should have never trusted him. And even Richie, which is crazy.
Yeah.
His homeboy. is day one.
Reggie's wild because it's just like, bro, you're not even gonna give him like the benefit of the doubt. You deal with bang babies like every day with like varying disabilities, and
Yeah.
your
And you
first
just
thought
can't believe
he's like,
I hate those episodes. I really
Mind
do.
control.
Richie, you read comic books.
Right.
You are a comic book fan. You have not heard of this concept. This is just new. And anyways, but Richie does help him a little bit, and fortunately they're able to get on television, the clones fighting each other, and also get on television replay being like, and this is my evil plan. So
make
they
everyone
beat
hate you.
they beat replay, and Static restores his name. Then the last episode of the season, which doesn't really feel like a season finale, it's just another episode. But he fights
Kind of.
he fights an Asian Hulk, I guess.
Yeah.
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 Where it's an Asian kid where his parents are like, you must get good grades. You must get only 100s. And he's like, this is so much stress on me. And then he unconsciously becomes like the Hulk. And then I guess Static uses like, he watches a tape of his deceased mother and how she used to like let him kind of like go through tantrums and whatnot. And basically, instead of attacking him, lets him calm down. And I guess his parents see the error of their ways, and he gets treatment and all that stuff. And that is season 1 of Static Shock. We did it, folks.
Summary.
Very good summary.
I will note that around here, the next episode, season 2, episode 1, is the one where they introduce Batman and Robin and the Joker.
Oh, okay.
And they integrate them into the DC universe.
Yeah, they do a couple of those crossovers throughout the season, throughout the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Which is cool. 'Cause I think it's actually
Means that the budget went up, brother.
Yeah, 'cause I think it's directly into the Batman animated series verse and or the Justice League verse. So that's what's up.
Yeah.
So, while they're away, any, I guess, closing thoughts on Static? I mean, I'll say this. What do we like? What do we like about Static Shock?
I'll start.
Mm.
I talked about some of this earlier. But I like how realistic Static's characters feel in the story based on what we know about the character, right? Like, first episode, Virgil is getting bullied. And just because he gets powers doesn't mean that he has a dramatic personality shift. He sees his bully, and his bully intimidates him, even though technically he would have the power to beat his bully. I think a certain point of the story comes along where his best friend reminds him, like, hey, listen, when you're in the costume, you're not Virgil anymore. Like, you're Static. Like, you no longer have to be intimidated by a bully. Like, you represent too much to allow that to stop what you're doing. And that really helps him to compartmentalize like who he is and what this identity really means. And then he's able to beat his opponent. We also get some really fun like power up animations throughout the series. I think overall, I think for the most part, the reoccurring villains in Static Shock are actually pretty entertaining. Really, really interesting capabilities, right? Whether that's Iban with the power to control all darkness, or it's Rubber Band Man, who, like you mentioned earlier, is more of like a Plastic Man style character, or a Hotshot, a childhood bully that essentially is just like doesn't have a logical way of operating, but more just wants a man that wants to watch the world burn. I liked a lot of these villains. I liked how the villains forced Static's character to grow in certain ways. I think those things help for a strong first season where we see a character that is weak of will and he's growing up as the series continues. And by the end of the season, we kind of see him still learning, still open to learning, struggling with traumas that he experienced early, but having enough power to be able to handle a bit more of a challenging situation. So I liked it.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm kind of like in a similar mindset with you. I think the characters in the show are like my like favorite aspect of the show, and or at the very least this season. Uh, because even with like the friendship between Virgil and Richie is really good. You really
Yeah.
get that sense that they are boys. They are day ones. Except for that episode where Richie decides to turn on him because because there's another shock in town and he can't fathom that you know abilities aren't at play here. But no, you do get a sense that they're close friends, and even like with how Virgil interacts with his like family is also like really good. Like the family between him and his dad
Mhm.
and Shannon, uh, it's really good. And whenever Virgil is like at his lowest, he there's like this moment where he would like talk to his dad, and it feels like a genuine relationship. And the dad could like at times the dad could be like on some parent type of oh you missed this important schedule, but like that's just because he's his dad. When his dad sees that Virgil's out, he generally like talks to him. He's like, hey, yo, what's wrong? I trust you if you
Yeah,
ever
he's a
need
good
to
dad.
talk about it. Like, yeah, he's a really good dad in media.
Yeah, it's
um
amazing, Dad.
and I really like his voice too, what I mean. That he has like a real soothing reverberated vocals. uh and even like I also like lot of I like some of the recurring villains. I do wish we got to see more of Ebon, or I wish Ebon was a bit like had a bigger presence, because Ebon feels like a penultimate villain for Static, and that's probably how it is in the comics. But like here, every time we kind of see him, he is very like villain of the week. uh on some villain of the week type vibe. And I think what really could have improved the series is uh an overarching, maybe because I'm just a plot head when it comes to these kind of things, but I feel like an overarching background in the background, like, or not even in the background, but like every like one to like every like fourth episode or something connects to like an episode from like before. You know what I mean? Giving it a more of a sense of a story or path. I know that that's probably not the point of the structure of a show like this, but I feel like it would have benefited it a lot. Uh, Especially, and it could have definitely given more shine to some of the villains that we've seen for only like an episode or two. Granted, we see probably a couple of these like later down the series, uh, but for the most part, a lot of these villains feel like some real like, oh, the original writer was in the room, so we're just gonna we're just gonna make this character with this wonky power and calling that. But overall, it's very fun. I think the relationships are like really strong in this.
Yeah, same sentiments. Genuinely, I do like it. Um, I would say that the comic is a little bit better. The show is refreshing and still new to this day, even if it's dated with its jokes and stuff. But um, the overall feel, I'll be quick with it, is that this is a very really good show that anybody can get into, and definitely if we definitely need to get more stuff of Static in any of these characters of from the Milestone universe. Um, I definitely would like to see an animated Icon and Rocket show.
Hmm.
These, I think they're really great characters. There's so many great characters, and it's amazing how they try to make the show without those characters, because there's so many people that uh in that Milestone universe that were created because of that incident of the tear gas that started this whole wave of characters showing up. But it still was true to the comics, but I would love to see more of the characters like the Blood Syndicate and people like that showing up.
Yeah, I think a really interesting thing about the show is that, like, for the most part, a lot of the one-offs we see, a lot of the characters outside like Static and like maybe like the main, like the main big names like Static and Ebon, like they are just made up for like the show.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of them are just made for the show. They're never like actual real characters.
Yeah, I will say, I think overall it's not a bad show. I know someone's even critical of it, but I think from a second everyone set up the characters like in the setting. I think they do it very well, and I appreciate the show for what it is overall. Static's a good character. He has cool powers. It's expressed pretty well. I wish there's one thing they do in episode 2 that they don't do again, and that is when Static like activates his powers, because they do play the animation of it, which is pretty cool. When he activates his powers and he lifts those arms up and you like the spin around.
Mhm.
But in episode 2, when he activates his powers and goes full Static, he gets a static outline on his character model, right? When he's
Yeah.
like full static powers, and they don't do it again, and that was so cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But all in all, and I think especially all the reoccurring villains, like I think the recurring villains are good picks. Like Rubber
Yeah.
Man, Ebon, even I guess in the background you have what is the rich guy? Alva.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the son, or just Al
Yeah.
himself. Yeah.
No, yeah, Alva.
Those all work very well. Those all work very well. Now that we got the praise, this is my little critique. It's my critique corner.
Of course, go ahead.
I'll say this. I counted the episodes. I was going through them, and I genuinely like about like 7 of them, right? But 7 of them I think are pretty good episodes, right?
Mhm.
The rest range from like to I was not a fan. Which is, I guess, not the worst split for like a first season of a television show. Sometimes, you need a couple seasons to get your footing. So I can totally like see, if we ever come back to this, perhaps season 2 or season 3, we're like, wow, the show really picked up. But season 1 is just not. I'm just not feeling it. And I will say I was not a big fan of the Static Shock theme that they played. That was not. I'm not saying it's bad. I just did not resonate with me, personally.
There's better ones for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, all in all, I think it's a decent show. It's just like, and I guess I don't know if I'm the only person with criticism here.
I have some criticism, but
Yeah.
I'll
All right, well, I'll hear you out before you get into our scores. But I think leaning into scores, I think it kind of like it's just where this show is right now. What I'm reviewing, season 1 of this show, just is not like operating at a high level.
Yeah.
That like other shows of its time were, and there can be many reasons for that. But it's so some of the in between stuff feels just a little too generic for me. And it's kind of held up by the characters, but that's my like big critique.
Yeah, I think I think that the episodes that highlighted villains that we never see again sometimes felt a little lazy.
Yeah.
Writing wise. And that's annoying. That's annoying because I think to Supa's earlier point of connected stories, I think there was an opportunity in the second episode with the meta criminals, which was Sons of the Father, for them to dig a little deeper into who Ebon actually is, right? Like it's our second time seeing him. Why does he have a desire to lead this group of villains? Is it just because he empathizes with people that can't be in the open? Or is there something else that's motivating his rationale. I don't know. I don't know anything about him, actually. I know that he isn't happy with the way that he appears to the public. I know he found other people that were also disgruntled with their appearance, but I think there's an opportunity there to dig deeper. I think Rubber Band Man's stories were actually the highlight of Static Shock. Um, I I loved the way that Static refers to his previous interactions with him and his conversation with his sister, where he's just like, hey, like, this guy's dangerous. Like, he beat up a music executive. Like, he attacked the superhero. This guy's a maniac. And she breaks that into tears. And he's just like, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I say that was wrong? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's such a typical little brother thing to do. Like, I have no awareness of how my older sibling feels about anything because I'm a teenager. Like, I just want to blurt things out. Wow, this is great. Like, that sucks. Or even like, there's just these moments where I'm just like, I feel sloppy. And for me, the animation wasn't horrible. Could have been better. I'm not gonna ding the animation too heavily, but I think there could have been more cohesion. There was a measure of it, but I would have liked to see more. I would have liked to see some things connect a little bit better than they did. Like we see that what was the organization called? Avon or Avalon or
Alpha.
It's like Alva.
Alva. And we see the head of that organization essentially like he's the one responsible for everything that's going on. Like he has like a set of files that get destroyed by Hot Streak. So we don't really know like what would even come of that information. And then later in the story, he has a canister in his house, the exact same canister from the site. And I'm just like, yo, we're gonna get a major plot point connection here. And they're just like, yeah, but what if we don't? Just like, shoot, man, like what's happening? Like it's almost like they're building to something, but then they just decide not to finish fleshing it out. And I think for me, that was one of the it happened over and over again. But that category of an issue is one of my biggest complaints. So we're going through complaints right now. It's one of my biggest complaints with the series.
Yeah. Well, anyone else have any other thing, or we go to the rating? Okay. All right. Now it's time for the moment of truth. Do you say Static Shock Season 1 is it peak, mid, or trash?
I'm I enjoyed my time with Static Shock. Like I said, it's my second time watching this season. And I appreciate what Static Shock has done, and I also appreciate the impact. And I also appreciate like there's some behind the scenes work. I don't remember like all of it, but like the behind the scenes just to get Static Shock like off the ground and airing is also like was also really good. But off of the show itself, especially just off of the season 1, personally, it's kind of falls in the mid for me.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the ground running, but sometimes to lift off, it's going to be a little wobbly. So I would have to say season 1 is not the greatest thing, but I'm glad it exists.
Yeah.
So I'll have to say it's mid.
Mm-hmm. Gray?
Yeah, I we'll get into specifics in a moment, but I was a bit saddened in the spaces that it fell short because I feel that the spaces are important. But I can't stress enough. I think Supa's kind of shared this a few times, but I can't stress enough how important this was culturally. So I also echoed the sentiment that I am very happy that Static Shock exists as a television program. I think there's a situation that could have potentially happened where this show never existed, and I won't say that Static Shock's existence dramatically altered the, but I will say like there's an audience of youths, myself included, that were encouraged by the existence of a show like this. Um, that we felt really connected to the stories. We felt really connected to the bond of a father and his son. We felt really connected to the challenges of dealing with racism in America. We felt really connected to kind of having a lot of responsibilities, some of which you can't talk about in certain instances, and feeling weighed down by some of those feelings. And like, I mean, it's very fictional, obviously. The bullying, like there's a lot of spaces where you could watch show like this and be like, wow, like I don't see shows that talk about all of these things in this specific way. I think there's a lot to be really happy with Static, but I think places it falls short, it's rough. I have to put it in the mid tier because of those weaknesses. But it's almost peak for me. It's almost there.
So that's just a way of saying it's mid, correct?
Yeah, no, I've said that.
I just find it strange that after all this time, we've all come to the same position. Almost as if one person was just brave enough to speak their mind, to take the hatred, okay, to bear it.
Both in the background.
Anyways, yes, I concur. Static Shock is in fact mid. Is my score. So now let's get to nitty gritty. Is Static Shock low, mid, or peak mid?
Did I freeze?
I'll start here because I was the last one to talk last time. For me, Static Shock is actually it's peak mid. I think of a story that misses certain bigger boxes. I think impact wise, I think character wise, I think um uh in the way that the characters feel so realistic. I can't rate it any lower than peak mid. I actually genuinely enjoyed watching Static Shock. Like at no point was I bored or irritated with the series. I think there are some points that feel low. I think it's like an episode or two. I was like, nah, this really didn't need to be here. Shout out to Grounded. That was just, why did it even call it Grounded? Never mind. An amoeba episode called Grounded. I guess it's because it's from the Earth.
It went through the ground.
That's just lazy. I'm sorry. I think like for me, there were just really awkward low points. But there are so many things that I love about, like I genuinely could say I love about the series. That for me, it's actually it's peak mid. It's about as good as mid can get.
Yeah. For me, I am leaning actually towards mid. You know, I think it just falls off, just falls right below the peak. And like I said before, you know, I appreciate everything it has done. But where the season, at least where season 1 is at right now, there's some lows to it that I feel like hinders it down. Like, and especially I really like the character writing of like the main cast when they do focus on the main cast. There are the lack of a overarching, the lack of like you mentioned before, of them putting up plot elements but not really focusing on them, or not have like an overarching backstory or whatever, or just some characters not not living up to what you think that it would be in a show like this, like Ebon for me. It kind of brings it down a bit. If it, I think it's slightly better than like your generic, you know, Saturday morning cartoon, but it's just not. It just doesn't reach the heights of like uh a. It just doesn't reach the heights of like a show that really like would that really like stood the test of time. You know, like around that time, you know, like the Teen Titans or the Spectacular Spider-Mans. But you know, I still enjoy Static Shock. You know, and I, you know, if I would definitely recommend this to like anyone who's never experienced Static Shock, and I do want more Static Shock content. and I think his costume in the show is really great. Like I really think like the drip is fire. But it's just not there for me, so I have to give it a mid.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'd give it
Um,
mostly peak mid, to be honest. It's corny, but absolutely adored. That I don't want to put it down in any way. So, yeah.
For me, it is mid. So,
Shocking.
it's okay. It's okay. It's not terrible. It's definitely not terrible. Definitely has room to grow. I'm sure it gets better as the seasons go along, but it's just right in the middle for me right now. So we're at an impasse. Do we go peak mid or do we go mid?
Usually, this is the time of the show where we would choose a side, and then we'd have to clash and fight, and it'd be like the last man standing type of thing. But uh, I'm willing to give the show peak mid.
I'm not.
Yeah, I
No,
think
I'm not. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
yeah, I think
Hashtag peak mid.
realistically, I think this is the first time with our current rating system that we have rated anything mid, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You've already been on the other episodes.
Yes, I haven't. I've only been on the mainline episodes. For mainline episodes, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong. Maybe I missed one. That of all the episodes we've done, this is the first time that we've rated anything mid, in the mid tier,
Like all together, probably.
altogether.
Yeah, I think this.
Yeah, this is our first mid ranking. I think within that ranking, I think something that's mid is has almost like an even number of disappointment as it has enjoyable moments. And I don't know, for me, the things that I enjoyed definitely there was more things that I enjoyed than things that I was disappointed by. There were definitely moments where I was disappointed, for sure. That's why it's in the mid tier at all. But if I were to scale it and I had like a 50-50 ranking, I said, all right, for everything you like, bump it up. Everything you didn't like, bump the other one down. I think the things that I like, there's just more of them. There's a lot more things for me that I thought were really impressive. That's why it kind of leans a bit higher than mid for me. If we were to say what direction are we leaning in, I don't know. For me, it definitely leans on the peak mid side.
Yeah. For me personally, I have kind of this scale, similar to how we used to do it before with the number system, and I just kind of go on that scale and take the average. And I think where it really kind of drops for me is the not specifically the dialogue, but just the writing aspect of some of the episodes and the monotony of. I think that's sort of the monotony of it sometimes. And I think I don't think this is a bad series by any stretch of the imagination, but it is definitely there's a lot of aspects in it that just kind of just land in the middle, except for characters. Characters, I think, like I said before, characters its highlights, but there are a lot of aspects that are just kind of around the middle-ish for me.
Yeah. Well, I think we've made our rating. Go watch Egg Shock. Just watch it, and then maybe you'll be surprised. Maybe you will say, okay, maybe that wasn't in my memories. We will see.
Or read the
that
comics.
being said, or read the actually just read the comics.
Read this.
Please do that.
Pick this book.
We will, if you enjoyed the episode, please give us a like, subscribe. The climbers only grow in size and number and strength. And we will catch you next time to round up probably one more black themed show or movie or something next week. And, after that, we are due for a very busy March.
Yeah. So hold on to your seat. Hold on to your seat, white people. We haven't forgot about you.
Your time's coming. Okay, you got the rest of the year. Yeah, so expect weekly Daredevil reviews, Invincible, and the One Piece live action for sure in March. So we got a lot going on. We'll see you guys in a bit. Stay safe.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Shock the system.
I said a shiver down your spine.
All right.
Like a call
Have a
back
good one,
to Black
everybody.
Knight.